Today, people thinking nobody does mass cinema like Telugu. We were the makers of Amar Akbar Anthony and Diwar and Mard and Trishul and Sholay. We did mass cinema. They picked mass cinema from us. We took the detour along the way to make slightly more intellectually stimulating stories. Very recently, जब गदर 2 में सनी साहब का इमोशन आप फील करते हो सिनेमा में, तो आई डोंट थिंक उसका कोई और सब्सटीट्यूट है. आई फील दैट खेल खेल में गेव मी what पति पत्नी और वो हैप्पी भाग जाएगी और हैप्पी फिर भाग जाएगी did not give me in so many ways. I feel that the relationship of this country's people and cinema cannot be broken.
Hi Mudassar, welcome to Variety India.
Hi Jinal, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to start by asking you about this thing, that one thing I truly enjoy about your filmography, they have very interesting female protagonists. So where does that come from?
Well, I think largely any filmmaker sort of has a reflection of his own personality in the work that he writes or directs. Point is, I think largely I've grown up around two very strong women, my mum and my sister. My daughter's growing up to be a very strong girl. So I think the positive influence of how I write my female characters sort of comes from close quarters around me. And also largely these things have to do with the kind of reading and the sort of upbringing that one goes through, and I think it's been inculcated very deep in me to sort of have characters in which women are in decision making authority. So I find that attractive, which is why I think it sort of seeps into the work.
When you sort of pit that against the current industry scenario where it's just a lot of violence and gore and very hyper masculine films that are coming up, where do you see yourself? Is there a dilemma? Is there something where you feel like you want to change the way you're working?
See, I won't call it a dilemma, because you more or less as a filmmaker are clear about the kind of cinema that you stand for. At least most of us are, who have had the good fortune of being able to direct 3+ or 5+ films. I feel that because cinema essentially only can be the reflection of how society is at that point in time in the cross section of a nation, I find that in these times where voyeurism is loud, even in society, where cancel culture and strong opinions and harsh sort of reactions to things are a norm, I feel it has started to reflect in cinema as well. Now, when it comes to the dilemma bit, I personally don't feel a dilemma, because I need to be conscious of the films that I make in terms of what my audience is and who all within a family can come together and watch a film that I make. And that's a personal choice.
Right.
That obviously does not mean that I am for or against or in criticism of somebody else who does it another way. So that keeps the dilemma away from me. But yeah, it's a pressure. Box office is an important part of everyone's lives. It's almost the barometer that allows us almost the budgets of our next films as filmmakers. So yeah, you do try to make your own content more palatable to the current scenario. You try to do that. I'm not a fan of just falling in line and saying, okay, because this is working, let's just quickly run and try and create I think I'll do a bad job of it if I do it.
Yeah, that's true. You're staying true to what you want to,
Yeah.
also want to see on screen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's where it began as a child.
What do you think has been the reason for this shift where we've gone back to this whole 80s style of like violence and gore? What do you think suddenly snapped in this industry?
See, there are 2 or 3 factors that contribute to it, in my opinion. Cinema is a reflection of the times that a country is going through at any point in time. That's one. But having said that, there came a time where commercial Hindi cinema took a very weird detour from its main, motorway where it was meant to travel. For the good or the bad, is another discussion, but it did take a detour. Now, what I mean is that we got an influx of a lot of filmmakers that were influenced by the ideas that they consumed from the West, stories and principles that they consumed that came from the West, and we started to make slightly more privileged class. Like you first mentioned, Happy Bhag Jayegi. To put a woman in front in the titular role with a non-star cast film and to expect that to become a super hit would have needed me to completely bank on the rationale of like-minded people to go and enjoy such a cinema. In Happy Bhag Jayegi, you see Pakistanis as people. There are good and there are bad, right? Doesn't seem like the trend today. So consumption of the slightly sort of informed or aware is different from the consumption of the large masses.
Right.
And when we took that detour towards slightly intellectually stimulated stories, we lost our core audience somewhere to dubbed Telugu films, regional cinema, who were still catering to those kind of stories and plots. That became the reason why much before Pushpa, Allu Arjun had become a hit in Bihar. His content was being consumed on television by way of dubbed Telugu films. And he was doing the massy, entertaining, large cross-section population-loving cinema. You see my point?
Yeah.
So people think Pushpa is an aberration. It's not an aberration. He strongly and silently did become a star before Pushpa came to the cinemas as a Hindi film. Which is why we see today people thinking that nobody does mass cinema like Telugu. Telugu kamal ka karta hai mass cinema, humko to aata nahi hai, whatever. My point is, Telugu cinema started doing mass cinema because of Hindi cinema.
Right.
We were the makers of Amar Akbar Anthony and Diwar and Mard, and Trishul and Sholay. We did mass cinema. They picked mass cinema from us. We took the detour along the way to make slightly more intellectually stimulating stories. And we fell off the bandwagon. Also, one more thing that really, according to me, became the telling point is that, see, I'm a bit of a linguist. I have nothing against any language. But I'm slightly not okay with the idea that you sort of configure a thought in your head in a foreign language. Go around directing on your set in that foreign language. The actors understanding from you in that foreign language and saying, okay, I got it. And then delivering a line in Hindi.
It's not translating.
It's not translating because the emotion of the line is neither being communicated by you as well as you should. Neither is it being understood. So it's a term I borrowed from Rohit Shetty, which is that we started making a lot of Bandra-Juhu films.
Right.
अब क्या है, आप किसी को बोल रहे हो आसनसोल में या राजकोट में या इम्फाल में या भोपाल में या रतलाम में कि वो इस वोक कल्चर को एक्सेप्ट भी करे, उसको एस्पायर भी करे और फिर उसकी रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में जहाँ पे वो अपने अगले इंस्टॉलमेंट के लिए फ़िक्रमंद है, वहाँ आप उसको 2 घंटे में या तो बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान दे रहे हो या बहुत एजुकेशनली रिच बातें कर रहे हो, जबकि वो आया है प्योरली अपने 250 रुपये के अगेंस्ट या 350 रुपये के अगेंस्ट एंटरटेन होने के लिए. एंड दैट आई थिंक बिकेम द शिफ्ट एंड दैट लार्जली इन माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग is where we are at today, which is why now consciously these things have come to the fore where people start to say, is this box office content or not? Now, technically what should have happened is that the existence of both these industries should have been like how it was through the 60s, 70s and 80s.
Yes, where you had mid-size and small.
Where you had everything.
Yeah, you had everything.
So you had Amit ji doing Diwar and Trishul, and you had Amol sir doing Choti Si Baat,
Yes.
and doing Golmaal. And Amit ji was not getting into the Choti Si Baat and Golmaal space. And Amol Palekar was not trying to do Diwar and Trishul. तो इसका एक हैप्पी कोएग्जिस्टेंस था. तो होता क्या था कि अमोल जी की फिल्मों को बजट कम मिलता था, मगर वो भी हिट होती थी क्योंकि उनका बजट कम होता था. अमित जी की फिल्मों को बजट ज़्यादा मिलता था क्योंकि वो उस ऑडियंस के लिए थी. Post 2000, I think largely after the advent of films like Dil Chahta Hai, our mainstream stars moved towards the intellectually stimulating subjects. Now, again, this is not in criticism, but this is merely an observation.
I think you've probably summed up, like, exactly what has happened. But now, after this segue, is there a way that we can go back to that balance?
Absolutely, we can. Absolutely, we
And
can.
what's the way that you think is the right one?
See, it'll be a little both presumptuous as well as, almost sounding too smart for me to propose a solution. But I do understand that, see, I'm a rank outsider. I came, fighting my father's statement when he first heard that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I came here fighting his statement that तुम्हारे लिए फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में कौन बाहें फैलाए खड़ा है कि आओ मुदस्सर के डायरेक्टर बनने का ही तो हम इंतज़ार कर रहे थे. Which means that in spite of me taking that chance against all chances, it worked. And that for me is the biggest testimonial of the fact that magic exists in this profession. This profession finds a way to survive beyond its problems and obstacles. Time and time again, from the time before I was born, things have been said. अब तो टीवी आ गया है, सिनेमा बंद हो जाएगा. कलर टीवी आ गया है, अब तो डेफिनेटली बंद हो जाएगा. अब तो दूरदर्शन फिल्में दिखाने लगा है, अब तो सिनेमा बंद हो जाएंगे. सैटेलाइट टीवी आ गया है. बिटवीन जी टीवी, स्टार्स, वेरियस अदर चैनल्स हमको इतनी फिल्में देखने मिलती, अब तो थिएटर डेफिनेटली बंद हो जाएगा. वीसीआर आ गया है, डीवीडी आ गया है. टाइम एंड टाइम अगेन, फ्रॉम a time when, in my times, where it was said कि अब तो दुनिया पाम में आ गई है, तो फ़ोन आ गया है, and then somebody said OTT आ गया है, तो इतना content available है. तो I find कि ये profession का एक particular magic है. और आप जब एक थिएटर में बैठे होते हो और आप एक RRR कंज्यूम करते हो, या जब आप एक बाहुबली कंज्यूम करते हो, या for that matter, I mean, closer to home, a Rohit Sir film in its full splendor, जब आप उसको consume करते हो. Very recently, जब गदर 2, में सनी साहब का emotion आप feel करते हो सिनेमा में, तो I don't think उसका कोई और substitute है. I may not know the exact way in which the comeback happens, but I feel that the relationship of this country's people and cinemas cannot be broken forever, in perpetuity. It's like saying, in the early 90s, there was a huge match-fixing scandal that hit cricket. Yeah. In spite of Sachin Tendulkar being at his absolute peak, people started to believe that, यार ये तो सब झूठ बोलते हैं, ये तो हमको बेवकूफ़ बनाते हैं, हम इतना पैशनेट हो जाते हैं इसको लेकर के, और ये लोग तो कुछ, unscrupulous type activities में लगे हुए हैं. But you could not remove cricket from the fiber of this country. And I feel community watching, going to the theater, is a part of our growing up culture, and it'll find its way back.
Because you value theater so much, is that one of the reasons why, you've not done, I think you've barely done any straight to streaming films, right? You've not done any.
Yeah, I've not done it.
So is this something that's going to continue, or are you going to jump on that trend sometime?
You never say never, I think. I think time and time again, I feel I'd like to do something in the digital space, not to find a easy way out to say, oh, then I won't have box office pressure. Not for that. But sometimes, as a filmmaker in your life, you hit upon stories where you feel that the consumption of this story is best when it's said in a particular language. That language, that grammar, may be too experimental for community watching. So because this is a story that needs that kind of grammar, should I pitch this, or should I make this as an OTT film, as they call it, direct to digital? Having said that, I don't think it's very far, because there are a few stories that are circling in my head which will possibly land up becoming my digital debut.
I look forward to that. That would be interesting.
Thank you.
So tell me, now we're talking about cinema that is a slightly different tangent than what's currently working,
Yeah.
the mass cinema.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the actors that are that take up these projects are not very big names. Often I've seen that happen,
Yeah.
right? How difficult is it for you to mount a film and promote that film for a theatrical release when you don't have such big names attached?
It's difficult. I won't lie. See, there's no prizes for guessing that we're very largely a box office oriented industry, and why must we not be? This is the only art form which is in which filmmakers want to call it an art form, but they want to use somebody else's money, right?
Yeah.
जब एक आर्टिस्ट पेंटिंग करता है तो कैनवस अपने पैसे से खरीदता है, पेंट अपने पैसे से खरीदता है, खुद की लाइट जलाता है, खुद के कमरे का फ़ैन चलाता है, और फिर जा कर के गैलरी भी प्रमोटर के थ्रू खुद बुक करता है जहाँ उसका एग्जीबिशन लगने वाला है, तो वो उसको आर्ट बुला सकता है. सिमिलरली अ स्कल्प्टर, वो अपनी मिट्टी खुद लाता है, उसका खुद का एक चरखा होता है, उसका इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसमें. ही कैन कॉल इट आर्ट. टू कॉल filmmaking purely art is a little because the investment is somebody else's, so you can't go around displaying art. A box office is key, and it's good that we are box office oriented. However, sometimes what happens is, and I feel this is more a studio responsibility than a filmmaker responsibility, that in order to set up films like that, which you first mentioned in your question as difficult to set up kind of films, here I think the studio needs to step in. So I'll give you examples. If you've had a great outing in, say for instance, an animal like a T-series has had, I think it's more that studio's responsibility to pick up those shining few films where maybe the star cast is not that high,
Right.
and then pump behind it because the profits of animal are very high. So when an industry needs to prosper, we can't place the responsibility or the blame on any one, facet of that industry. Filmmakers need to stand up to say, okay, I've had a huge box office success in the past. Studios need to say that, okay, I've made a lot of money on XYZ film. Maybe I can back 3 other such films. Similarly, actors, stars, they can pick up unique stories if they're having a great run, And hence, then films like that, to put them up, will not become as much of a challenge as it is now. Right now, I feel because it's also lopsided, it's because everyone's tilted in one direction, that it becomes a challenge to sort of set up films like that. It becomes difficult to, let's just say today, I feel, that I have a great comedy idea, superb comedy idea, but it involves, say, 2 girls, let's just say, right? I should not need to feel compelled when I am in conversation with the studio head, without taking names, that they turn around and tell me कि सर इसको 2 लड़के कर दो ना. तो वो होने के लिए I feel इस तरह की फिल्म का सेटअप होने के लिए जिम्मेदारी I think सबकी equal है. We can't give it to any one person.
When it comes to, because we are talking about the budgets of films, right? So we realize that right now with the industry, there's this conversation happening about entourage costs, right?
Right.
Which then add to these films, and suddenly a small or a mid-sized budget film also, if it has to attach a big name to it, even one of them
Right.
becomes like a big budget film automatically.
Right.
What according to you is like a decent number that you think these films should actually be budgeted on?
I'm sorry for sounding a little idealistic, but I think the premier thing that should drive the budget of a film should be the story. For example, if you're making Bala, right? The story requires a certain budget. If you're making Thama, the story requires another kind of budget. Now, I have been very tactful in picking my examples because the hero is the same.
Correct.
You understand? The budget must be governed by the story, not so much by any other factor. Coming to your entourage costs, etc., I find it preposterous, hilarious. I don't advocate it at all. I think it's ridiculous that it happens. And I feel that over a period of time, actor pleasing has become such a unfortunate part of our business that all of these costs became what they became. See, I'm not undermining the importance of any staff within an actor's staff towards the or their contribution towards the actor's performance. I'm not. Having said that, because that actor will constantly call upon you as a makeup artist, or constantly call upon you as a stylist, or constantly call upon you as a trainer, the producer needs to sell a property is beyond my comprehension. I don't understand how we got here. Though I know the reason, but I don't know why people didn't put up a fight to it much earlier. I just don't get it. I think it was largely because of actor pleasing that we got here.
Is this something that you put your foot down on?
Now there are 3-4 facets to me, right? I'm a producer when it comes to films like say Double XL. I'm a director when it comes to Pati, Patni or Wo and Happy Bhag Jayegi. So my say in the matter varies depending on which hat I'm wearing. But in the work that I'm producing currently and in the work that I have produced in the past, I've been very clear about these things. I feel that a conversation and a healthy conversation between an actor and a producer could happen where it could be well said that, look, this is what I have and I think this is reasonable for your entourage. I'm happy for you to take an entourage much bigger than this, but then it cannot cross this budget. Either you ask all of them to fit within this budget, or else whatever is over and above, you please bear it. Because hota kya hai na, nobody seems to have this frank conversation with an actor saying that if the film becomes really successful, brother, you will raise your price, right? But if the film becomes a huge flop, you will not possibly stand with me and say, here's the concession off of my fee, barring literally 1 or 2 examples within, so there's no point in citing those examples. So I think that should be the conversation. That's what I try to do when I'm going on it as a producer. When I work as a director, and now when I work as a director, I work as a co-producer also. So it then automatically applies to me as well. And I sort of fall in line with that. I feel like that if we make cinema with discipline, you know, we can really bring these unnecessary budgets down. I have that point of view, and I want to reiterate that I find all these entourage costs and all preposterously irritating.
Speaking of discipline, right? Recently, Deepika Padukone, she asked for like an 8-hour work shift, which we all, I mean, I work in corporate. I know that it's a very reasonable ask, right? You have worked on so many films with actresses, right? Do you think it's an unreasonable ask to, you know, say that, okay, we should have like a fixed shift of hours for people so that people can go back and have a life?
We cannot standardize this question purely because every film will have a very different work environment. For example, we're shooting here today, right? Everything's available right around us. The AC is on. We're reasonably comfortable. So are all of our technicians who are behind the camera. Somebody wants to reach out for something, they can. Somebody wants to order a coffee, they can. If we were to be doing this interview in the middle of Rajasthan, right? These things would not be common. So the context changes. So how can then you turn around and say, is an 8-hour shift okay or is an 8-hour shift not okay? If a producer and a film and a story and a budget is shooting like this, then maybe it's much wiser to work 10 hours a day and truncate the cost of the film. But if we are in the contrary atmosphere, like I mentioned, if the same thing is happening in the middle of Rajasthan and the stories make their own demands, right? So you will have to be there in Rajasthan at that point in time. At that point in time, it will be absolutely logical to say, let's everyone work only for 8 hours and go back, because the travel back to the hotel will be about 2 hours. And then we have to come back here again at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's a contextual question. So I love how people went, so we are all a trigger happy generation, which is why I'm not on social media. I love how people just go on giving reactions to things saying, अरे इसने ये बोला उसको क्या वो actor इतना पैसा लेता है तो क्यों नहीं 8 घंटे ज़्यादा काम कर सकता? And even the opposite lot, saying, oh, what do you know what it is to be a woman and whatever. Please try and understand the context. If the context allows for work to happen a certain way, it should. And if the context doesn't, it shouldn't. It's as simple as that. And nobody is allowed to decide this better than the stakeholders within the film. The principal star of the film, the filmmaker, and the producer. It should be their business.
But if you're being frank, who really does have the real power in the situation? In the industry in general, I'm talking. The actor. Yeah. But do you think like with the right amount of discipline, we can actually, have like reasonable hours? I mean, all the other things
We do, yeah.
notwithstanding.
Yeah, we do.
We do?
We do. I don't think, I have not come across, I mean, I'm 7 films old as a director. I'm moving now into producing second, third, fourth film. I've worked on so many films as a writer. I have not felt that, oh, this is becoming inhuman.
Right.
Oh, they've broken my back about it. I'm sure there are cases, few and far between. You cannot apply a general rule to everyone. I'm sure some people have tried to take advantage of, especially that community of workers that don't have a voice. So maybe they try to take an advantage of that. But those cases are very few and far between. I feel by and large, we're an industry that has our working house in order when it comes to number of hours.
In one of your interviews, you said that today a film, theatrical film needs to be like this event film.
Yes.
For people to want to buy tickets.
Yes.
Do you think that we can sort of change that scenario? Like, what's the way that we kind of bring people to theaters? But for your smaller budget, mid-sized films, do you think that era is going to ever come back?
Up until the release of Sayara, if I were to tell you or anybody were to tell you that एक न्यूकमर की लव स्टोरी आ रही है यार और देखना वो बहुत बड़ी ब्लॉकबस्टर होने वाली है, you would have laughed, I would have laughed, everyone would have laughed.
I would have.
Mohit Suri stuck to his guns. Mohit Suri did what Mohit Suri does, and Mohit Suri delivered on a story which was a very good story with 2 very promising actors who also I think he had the largest to contribute towards.
Right.
You can see Mohit in both those actors. He stood strongly behind his vision, and that film became a blockbuster. Kantara 1, for that matter, right? Became a blockbuster in spite of being such a small regional idea. Yeah. People got inquisitive about it, then started looking up about it, then went and watched the film in order to understand it. So who is to say that a small, sensible story or a meaningful film is not going to go out there and become a blockbuster? ज़रूरत है हर तरह की कहानी को बैक करने की, ज़रूरत है, which I first said, जो larger stakeholders हैं, studios, big corporate houses, उनको ज़रूरत है to see कि हर आइडिया में कितना पोटेंशियल है इसको बॉक्स ऑफिस पे सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए, और हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं कि इसको बॉक्स ऑफिस पे हम सक्सेसफुल बनाएं. हम किसी जॉनर का हाथ सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं छोड़ सकते कि अरे ये so when you come back to the reference of my interview where I said that these days event films are doing well in the cinemas, what I meant is not that, oh come on, let's all make only event films. That's not what I meant in that interview. What I meant is that event films are getting the necessary backing and positioning that other stories are not getting. And we must not by any stretch of imagination leave the hands of those stories and those storytellers. They must as much be part of our system, because every one of them will have the potential on one Friday to become Sayara or Kantara, depending on how well they are made and how well they are received.
Have you anticipated struggles in finding screens to show your film, and then is that something that you actively avoid, a clash?
I've been in 2 situations in the past where once I've been bang in the middle of what was a clash and landed up making out of the most successful films of my career, and one where I have gotten stuck in the middle of a clash and landed up making a very good film which did not do the box office numbers that it should have done.
Right.
The first example was Happy Bhaag Jayegi. Happy Bhaag Jayegi came in the middle of Rustam and Flying Jat.
Right.
Now, Akshay Kumar in those days, was known as the Akshay Kumar who had a 15 August stamp, on it. Yeah. This was the time where Bhai meant Eid and, Akshay sir meant 15 August and all that. So, Rustam was a release at that point in time. Now, Happy Bhaag Jayegi is a very small film. So, 2 weeks later was Tiger Shroff's Flying Jut. And at that point in time, Tiger Shroff had not seen a flop.
Right.
Right? He was coming only hit, super hit, whatever. And he was playing the superhero and whatever. Now, because Happy Bhag Jayegi was a small film, it found that middle week. So everyone said, एक तो ये picture छोटी है, फिर ये director चला नहीं है, फिर you know ये है whatever. But वही हफ्ता था available, तो ले लिया. Beggars can't be choosers. And for whatever reason, that was the time that Flying Jut didn't do well. And then Happy Bhag Jayegi just kept going and going and going through the month. So I've seen the advantage of it. The disadvantage, obviously, I saw majorly in Khel mein.
Right.
You know, where on 15th August, I think Stree 2, again made by a friend of mine, was an absolute tsunami. You know, and maybe Khel mein on another date may have been a better idea. And you know, closer to the release of the film, I kept telling people, no, that's not it. That's not it. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else. But now I've been said that by so many people that I believe that the film did suffer because of the clash. But you know, there's nothing you can do to avoid it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 52 weeks, out of which I believe, and I'm not a part of the sort of woke crowd that believes that it doesn't matter. I believe that 4 हफ्ते रमज़ान के और 4 हफ्ते श्राद्ध के यहाँ पे फिल्में नहीं चलती. हम largely एक ट्रेडिशनल नेशन है, और हाँ स्लाइटली टेढ़े आइडिया की फिल्म चल सकती है रमज़ान और श्राद्ध में. बट अगर आप चाह रहे हो आंटी जी, मौसी जी, कज़न, बच्चे, नेव्यूज़ आए, तो अब 52 में से 8 तो आप ये निकाल लो. ठीक है, तो अब बचे you're fighting for 44 weeks.
Yeah.
I would be very fair and say that if a big ticket Indian film is fighting for screens in LA, I'll take it on the nose. And I'll say, ठीक है भाई, यहाँ का स्टार रायन गॉसलिंग मैं कम स्क्रीन ले लेता हूँ.
Right.
बट यहाँ मैं क्यों दूँ? You know, so
Yes.
I feel like that I'm very Indian when it comes to very protective of my film industry. Having said that, if these were 2 Hindi films or 2 Indian language films, I would have sort of, you know, felt that yeah, it's unfortunate that they're clashing and they're needing to lose out on business. It happened a few times in the past, you know. 2 big Hindi films have come and one has suffered because of the other. So yeah, but I mean that's a thing you can't. Nobody can propose an idea to sort of avoid it.
Yeah, and I think like we said, if everyone's going to make these big films,
Yeah.
your 52 weeks are not going to be enough. You'll need more.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Khel Mein, because you know, the film got good reviews. You
Yeah.
had a great cast.
Yeah.
It was an interesting premise.
Yeah.
What do you like? What happens when a film like that doesn't do well at the box office? What was your thought process like? Where did you put the blame, and how did you get out of it and decide, okay, now let's move on to the next one?
Moving on to the next one is a part of, I think, now every regular filmmaker's life. You know, a regular filmmaker who, you know, has a certain career and a filmography realizes that there will be ups and downs, there will be disappointments, there will be nights of celebration, and there will be weekends of mourning. You know, and you got to dust yourself. Everyone has different ways of doing it. Somebody takes a break, somebody takes a vacation, somebody, you know, has a few drinks, whatever as their peace of mind from. And then they move on. So that, I think, is not as difficult. How one sort of feels about a film like that coming and maybe not doing as well as it should have when it seemed to have got a lot of love. That one is a bit of a difficult one to crack. More or less, give or take, अगर आप ईमानदार फिल्म मेकर हो, तो कई बार आप अपनी फेल्ड फिल्म को देख करके आप बता सकते हो कि ये, हाँ यार, मेरे को भी लग रहा है ये यहाँ पे रॉन्ग हो गया, आई वेंट रॉन्ग हियर, ये इसलिए फेल हो गई. यू नो, कुछ फिल्में ऐसी होती है जिनको आप देखते हो, आपको लगता है यार देयर इज अनदर फैक्टर टू इट, बिकॉज I have made the film I wanted to make. It's come out the way, and there are, you know, segments of people and whatever who are coming and telling me exactly that. And now what do I do? It's not done well. That hurts more,
Yeah.
for sure. But then I think God has His mysterious ways of teaching you, you know, because maybe it was His way of nudging me in a particular direction. I feel that Khel mein gave me what Pati Patni और वो Happy भाग जाएगी और Happy फिर भाग जाएगी did not give me in so many ways. I mean, it is the only film in my career, and I've not shared this before on camera, the only film in my career where I got called from Suraj ji, Suraj Barjatya, and he didn't tell me he was calling me about the film. And he just said, मैं आपसे मिलना चाहता हूँ, and he called me to his office. And I thought, I don't know, Rajshri wants to offer me, I don't know what it was, I didn't know what to make of it. But obviously when Suraj ji calls, you go, you know.
Yeah.
So I just showed up and I said, Ji Suraj ji, you know, whatever, sat down. And believe you me, he sat down with me for half an hour, 45 minutes, speaking to me about Khel Mein.
Wow.
Things that he loved, lines, dialogues that he liked, moments that he thought I had captured correctly. It's not come from any one of my 3 hit films or whatever, you know. So I guess, I don't know. It's teachings. These are all learnings along the way that you get. It sort of make you stronger for the next one. Now I feel like that meeting and that time spent with Surajji, I feel like a weight of being able to justify it better and harder, you know, in my next film. Who knows if that film was a blockbuster and, you know, maybe I wouldn't have had this meeting, maybe this exchange of thoughts wouldn't have happened, and I would have thought, oh, I'm doing really well. I don't need to change anything about what I'm doing. So life has its ways of teaching you, you know. Now I suddenly feel like, you know, oh, Surajji sees my films.
Yeah.
I have to better that kind of entertainment. I have to better that kind of emotion. So.
But I think that's a very nice way to sort of, because I know that box office is important, but
Yes.
when a peer, also someone who's so
absolutely.
respected, does that.
Absolutely. I cannot thank him enough for the rest of my life. And you know, he said a magical thing to me, which almost brought tears to my eyes, still does sometimes when I talk about it. You know what he said, and that makes him Suraj Barjatya. He said, Mudassar, अगर ये पिक्चर बहुत चल जाती ना, तो मैं आपको नहीं बुलाता. मैंने आपको यहाँ इसलिए बुलाया है ताकि मैं आपको ये बता सकूं कि पिक्चर सही है. This I'm telling you not just as a filmmaker. This I'm telling you as Rajshri distribution.
Right.
That maybe some other factors have gone wrong that have nothing to do with how you've made the film. But ये picture सही है. And I thought it was important in your journey as a filmmaker, which validated the fact that he's seen other work of mine as well. He said that it was important for me to call you at this time and tell you it's nothing to worry about. It's just gone wrong for some. So yeah, it matters a lot when peers praise you when they call them. Amar, you know, on the weekend of Stree 2, I think 3 days into Stree 2, obviously in 3 days he knew what Stree 2 had become. 4th day, him and me spoke on the phone, and he said, "आपने बहुत अच्छी picture बनाई है." I really enjoyed it. So.
Why do you think we're all, you know, chasing this whole franchise situation? Because we're talking about Stree 2, there is the whole universe happening.
Yeah.
You're making a second film. You're making
Yeah.
Pati Patni or wo part 2.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, is there a dearth of good stories in the industry, or why is it like everyone wants to make something part 2, part 3?
I don't think you can associate कि part 2, part 3 इसलिए बन रही है क्योंकि हमारे पास अच्छी कहानियाँ नहीं है. I don't. Part 2, part 3 के लिए भी तो कहानी लगेगी. कहानी तो लिखनी पड़ेगी ना फिर से. अगर सेटिंग अलग है या कैरेक्टर बदल गया है या जो कुछ भी, तो स्टोरी राइटिंग स्टिल इज नीडेड. वी हैव सीन अ वेरी टफ टाइम. Nobody talks about it that openly, but post the 2 years of COVID, the industry that has taken an absolute bludgeoning is the Hindi film industry when it comes to its theatrical performances. It's taken a bludgeoning. And now we need a lot of quick healing. We need a lot of recovery. ठीक है, आप लोगों को ये पसंद आया है, हम कोशिश करते हैं आपको ये दोबारा दें. आपको इस तरह का, आपको ये वर्ल्ड इस डायरेक्टर से आता हुआ इस तरह का एक दुनिया आपको पसंद आई है, हम कोशिश करते हैं कि आप दोबारा थिएटर इसकी वजह से आएँ. आई थिंक फिल्म मेकर्स कम आउट ऑफ द डेस्परेशन ऑफ कि मैं ऐसा क्या कर दूं कि आप सिनेमा लौट आओ. क्योंकि इस वक्त फिल्म मेकर वो 5000 चीज़ से लड़ रहा है जो उसके कंट्रोल में नहीं है. स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द फ्रीकिंग फोन टू 1000 सेल्फ प्रोक्लेम्ड critics, starting from 12 followers to 120,000 followers, sitting and saying he's made trash, she doesn't know how to direct, he doesn't know how to act. And I'm not saying take their right away, but it's a force to combat. Let's just say any one of our technicians here, let's just say the person working on sound was not very good one day at his job, you know. He had an off day. Imagine 500 people because of his off day telling him ये क्या है, इसको sound record करना नहीं आता है, इसको तो mic लगाना ही नहीं आया, ये तो फलाना. It's not easy to take that kind of battering in public, you know. So उस घबराहट के मारे, उस डर के मारे और उस invitation के हिसाब से कि यार इस तरह का सिनेमा पहले देखने आए थे तो चलो इसका पार्ट 2 बनाते हैं, इसका पार्ट 3 बनाते हैं. आई थिंक दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई इट्स हैपनिंग, नॉट फ्रॉम एनी अदर, एटलीस्ट इन माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
Is that what your thought process was when you decided to make this one? And then what did you think about, like, when you were casting this film? What were your thoughts?
See, I've done this twice. I have created a franchise which is my own self-created franchise, which is the Happy Bhag Jayegi franchise, where I did Happy Bhag Jayegi and Happy Phir Bhag Jayegi. Pati Patni aur wo is, I would not call it so much my created franchise because it will always remain B.R. Chopra's franchise.
Right.
So I always say B.R. Chopra made 1, I am making 2, I made 2 and I am making 3. The regard, the reverence, the responsibility of doing Pati Patni aur wo is very different. Tomorrow I make a Happy Bhag Jayegi 3, I'll feel very different from how I feel about Pati Patni aur wo. When we made Pati Patni aur wo, the one with Kartik, Ananya and Bhumi, I think what I had in mind was to be able to give husbands a voice, you know, and it's instantly brought a smile to your face because people here who are married, the gentlemen here, and if you say तुमको सबसे ज़्यादा डर किस बात का लगता है, तो anyone feels not wanting to be caught in a wrong situation by their wife. Parts of which were also evident in Khel mein when the phones started to, you know. I find that idea very, very exciting. And, you know, David sir had once told me कि बेटा बहुत कम director अब ये कर रहे हैं, तो तू छोड़ना मत, तू ये करते रहना.
So now you have a film that you said is just a few months away,
yes,
you know, to go to the public. Tell me, what is your biggest fear, both as a writer and as a filmmaker in the current industry?
See, Jinal, I don't have a fear. I have concerns. I feel that, and those concerns are not only related to a film that I have made, or you know, or a particular film or X particular film. I feel that my concerns come from more a place of that as an industry we need to start rallying together. This involves actors, directors, producers, studios alike, so that we can start making more and more successful films at the box office. I think Hindi cinema requires a huge turnaround for us to be able to go back to being. फिल्में फिर भी फ्लॉप होंगी, हमारे बेस्ट टाइम में भी फिल्में फ्लॉप हुई हैं और फ्लॉप हर एक की ज़िंदगी में लगी हुई है, उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है. आई फील कि हम एज एन इंडस्ट्री वी हैव टू बी टेकन seriously across the globe. Our seniors have put that responsibility on us, you know, and I feel that whether it's through my film, whether it's through somebody else's film, I always feel proud.
You said Theatrical, and that reminded me of this recent Ryan Gosling interview I saw. And he said that, you know, it's not the audience's job to sort of, you know, keep theatres alive. It is our job as filmmakers and actors and stuff to bring you to the theatres.
Absolutely agree with him.
You completely agree with
Completely
it? But
agree with
do you think that the audience today is sort of complicit in choosing certain kinds of, like, well, I don't want to use the word, but like a mediocre sort of content right now? Do you think audience also should sort of meet us halfway somewhere?
नहीं यार, I don't feel. देखो, I feel हमारा काम वो बनाना है जो ऑडियंस को अच्छा लगे. अगर उनको अच्छा नहीं लगे तो हमारा काम है सॉरी बोलना और दूसरी बार कोशिश करना कि वो बनाए जो उनको अच्छा लगे. ये ऑडियंस की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है कि वो थिएटर को अलाइव रखे. ऑडियंस की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है कि दे कम एंड मीट अस हाफ वे. ऑडियंस टिकट खरीद रही है तो ऑडियंस अपनी जिम्मेदारी पूरी कर रही है.
And one final question I have for you. The threat of AI is imminent right now in filmmaking. Again, as a filmmaker and a writer, do you feel threatened? Are there any, instant, immediate concerns that you have?
Absolutely none.
None.
See, this is a human profession. This is a profession of emotion. चक दे इंडिया में एक गाना है, तीजा तेरा रंग था मैं तो. वो एक माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के आदमी की शिकायत है कि कहीं उसका देश उसको गलत ना समझे. He's saying तीजा तेरा रंग था मैं तो means I'm the third color of your tricolor.
Yeah.
आपको लगता है AI ये गाना लिख पाएगा कभी?
I don't believe it.
तो then what is a writer or a filmmaker to feel scared of?
Yeah.
जिसको वो कितना वो कुछ कर ले, ये प्रोफेशन इमोशन का प्रोफेशन है. हाँ, आप ये पूछ लो कि खेत में खाद कौन सा डालना है, ये करना, वो बता देगा. बट कहानी क्रैक करना आपको, विल AI बी एबल टू टेल यू कि लड़की को बाइक पे पीछे बिठा के स्वेटर पीछे डाल के स्वेटर ऐसे खींचेगा तो ऑडियंस सीटी मारेगी?
Somebody will have to do that.
ये ह्यूमन
for
काम
AI to
है,
do that.
ये ह्यूमन काम है.
And what's in the pipeline for you apart from Pati Patni or Votu?
So Pati Patni or Votu happens next. Of course I wake up sometimes feeling that कि अब comedy छोड़ के कुछ और करते हैं, but फिर वो it keeps pulling me back into it somehow. The digital debut that you spoke of a little while earlier could be round the corner. And other than which there is between these two actors who I last worked with, that is Akshay Kumar and Ayushmann Khurrana, I do have a feeling that there might be another comedy at some point that I will do with either one of them. So that's how it's rolling. There's also about 3 or 4 films that I'm trying to attempt to be a producer with, and those are interesting stories. So yeah, those will unfold over the next few years.
Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
Mudassar,
Gina.
for talking to me. This was very insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.